Alright, so what is the purpose of this SRS document? The purpose is to provide a thorough overview of the Serenora clothing store mobile application, and it explains about the objectives, characteristics, interfaces, functionalities, operational limitations, and response to the external stimuli. And it is meant for the system developers as well as its stakeholders and will be sent to the client for approval.
Okay, let me explain about the definitions, acronyms, and abbreviations. Uh, in the context of a software requirements specification or CRS, the terms of definition, acronyms, and abbreviation are typically sections that provide clarity and understanding for readers. So, in this uh, CRS of Serenora Clothing Store mobile application, we have the definition, acronyms, and abbreviation, which is the first is CRS. CRS is software requirement specification. API API is applications programming interface, and RDBMS, which is relational database management system, and MVP is minimum viable product, and ERD is entity relationship diagram, and we have DVD. DVD is data flow diagram, and UI is user interface, and the last is UX. UX is user experience.
Okay, so this is the overview of this document. The purpose of this document is to serve as a comprehensive guideline outlining the features, functionalities, and operational needs of the Sayonara clothing store website. The target audience of this document is for the developers, stakeholders, and any involved parties to understand the development and deployment of the website. The main goals of this document is to provide a deep understanding of the software specification and ensure a smooth overall process for its creation. This document has a role as a roadmap for developers and stakeholders, ensuring everyone understands the project goals, specifications, and scope. Okay, next for the product perspective or related work, this is the system environment. This system environment has several key components. The first one is web interface. This is the user-friendly storefront where customers browse products, add items to their chart, and check out. Next, there is database server. Database server securely stores all website data, including product information, customers' accounts, and orders. Next, there is web manager. Web manager manages website content, updates product listings, and oversees website performance. Next, there is order processing system. Order processing system process customer orders, tracks inventory levels, and communicates order status updates. Next, there is inventory management system. Inventory management system maintains real-time inventory data, ensuring product availability and accuracy. Uh, Next, there is payment gateway. Payment gateway securely handles online payments and transaction. And the last one, we have order tracking system. Order tracking system provides customer with real-time updates on the status of their orders. For the product functions, Sayonara clothing website lets users browse a vast selection by category, such as size, color, price, reviews, and more. The user is also able to create accounts, save favorites to their chart, track orders, and enjoy secure shopping with multiple payment options. Order processing is streamlined with confirmations, shipment tracking, and hassle-free returns or exchanges. Okay, so there are four actors for this website, and the user characteristic is as following. The customer is expected to be internet literate and be able to use search engine and know how to shop online. The warehouse manager and warehouse staff are expected to be internet literate and to be able to use computers and inventory management software. Next, the marketing administrator is expected to be skilled in using content management system and web analytics to be able to manage website content.
So, in this CRS, we have general concerns. In the general contract is uh, the application prioritize platform compatibility, accessible on iOS and Android, catering to users on different operating systems, with emphasis on the last versions. Uh, we engineer it for the adaptability across diverse devices, uh, va- varying in screen size and resolutions. User will constantly enjoy internet connection for real-time updates, dynamic product browsing, and secure transactions. And the next is we have assumptions and dependencies. In this CRS, we have the first assumption is user has an active internet, and the second is user will have mobile device with capability that super mobile application that includes with adequate processing power, memory, battery to ensure the smooth experience. And the third of assumptions in this CRS is the data provided by the existing inventory management system is accurate and up to date. And we have the dependencies of the our CRS. The first is the application depends on third-party service for functionalities such as payment processing. And the second, we have the application's compatibility with the latest version of iOS and Android depends on timely updates and documentation from the respective operation system providers. And the third of these dependencies is the application compatibility with the latest version of iOS and Android depends on timely updates on and documentation from the respective operation system providers. And the first is the availability and performance of the server's infrastructure, including hosting service and database, are crucial for the proper functioning of the application, especially for real-time and data storage.
Okay, these are the user interfaces of the Serenora clothing store mobile application. The first page is the login page, which is the first page that will show up when the user opens the application. On this page, if the user already has an account, they can input their email and password and click login to go to the main page. If the user forgot their password, they can click the forgot password. If the user doesn't have an account, they can go to the register page by clicking sign up. The page that will show up is the register page where the user can create a new account by inputting their name, email, phone, and password and click the register button. After the user successfully registered their account, it will go directly to the main page.
Okay, so this is for UI screenshots that starts with main page. So this is the page where the user are allowed to start doing the big range of activities in this application, like see cart at the top of the page, search feature to search products or there's attributes, click each of the categories to filter by category like top and then shoes, bags, dress, and watch. In this case, user click top and these are the things that showed up. At the bottom of the page also showed navigation bar that allows user to navigate directly to home, receipts or order or profile. And then second UI is for profile settings. So this is the page where user can click the profile navigation button. It allows user to edit their profile, which are full name, Gmail, phone number, address, and alternative address as address to like in database said. There's also logout button in here. And then the third UI is for order track. So this is the page where user can click the order navigation button in the navigation bar. And user can see the current order ID as seen here is A78D and so on. They may acknowledge about the process of the shipping. In this case, is in the process between Cikarang and Jakarta track. And on the below, there is more specific tracks by timeline to timeline.
Next is the UI for product detail, cart, and checkout pages. For product detail, there is product name, product description, and price. The user can select the size, color, and quantity of the product. If it's already okay, they can click Add to the cart button. On the cart page, there is a list of products that are already being added to the cart. Here, the user can still change the quantity of the product or delete it. In the below section, there is a total price without shipping cost, and the user can click the checkout button to go to the checkout page. On the checkout page, there is a detail of the shipping address, product, price, variant, and quantity. There is a shipping method option which the user can choose. For the total payment, it is total buy plus shipping price, and that is the price which the user needs to pay. After that, the user can click the next page to go to the payment methods.
In the checkout page, user can choose the shipping methods available. The examples are regular shipping, priority shipping, and international shipping. This shipping methods page will also display the shipping charges and the estimated duration. Next is payment method page. User can choose the payment methods available. The examples here are bank transfer, credit card, and cash on delivery. The next page is the payment page for BCA bank transfer. The page will display the total payment, the bank virtual account number, and the payment deadline. User can read the payment steps using various methods like ATM, MBCA, or Click BCA. User can also change the payment methods and back to home to see their ordered products after making the payment.
Then, for the next external interface requirements is the hardware interfaces. First, the application is optimized for smartphones and tablets running Android version 7.0, Nougat, or later. The application shall support seamless operation over both Wi-Fi and mobile data connections. Users will be able to access and utilize all the features regardless of the network type. Next is the software interfaces. First, the application shall integrate with Android APIs to access device functionalities, including push notifications, storage, and system services. Second, the application shall integrate with a secure payment gateway API to facilitate online transactions securely. Third, the application shall interact with the MySQL database management system for data storage and retrieval. The last is the communication interfaces. First, the software shall use HTTP or HTTPS for communication between the client application and the server. Second, the software shall use the user authentication API to manage user login and authentication processes. Third, data exchange between the client and server shall be in JSON format.
Here are the functional requirements for the Serenora Clothing Store mobile application. First, provide detailed products information. The application shall display detailed information of the selected products, like product size, product color, and other additional information. And then display product categorizations. The application shall display product categorization to the user. And then create and update user profile. The application shall allow the user to create the profile and then fill and update the profile information, including full name, email, phone number, and address. And then check out products. The application shall allow the user to check out selected products in the shopping cart and then choose the shipping address. Next, provide shopping cart function. The application shall allow the user to add the products or remove it from the shopping cart and then change the product's quantity in the shopping cart. And then provide online delivery tracking. The application shall display the current tracking information of the order. Next, provide search products function. So the application shall allow the user to input the search text, search image, and select multiple filters. The application shall display all the matching products based on the search. And then the application shall display a notification when no matching products is found on the search. Next, provide multiple shipping methods. The application shall allow the user to select one of the shipping methods. And then the application shall display different shipping methods, shipping charges, and the estimated shipping duration. And then provide multiple payment methods. The application shall display available payment methods, and then the application shall allow the user to select one of the payment methods and make a payment to confirm their order. Lastly, online product reviews and ratings. The application shall allow the user to enter the reviews and ratings of ordered products, and then the application shall display the reviews and ratings of the selected products.
What are the non-functional requirements of this application? First is the performance. The application shall respond to user interactions within 2 seconds for standard operations, ensuring a seamless user experience. The system should handle a concurrent user load of up to 1,000 users without significant performance degradation. The application must support a minimum of 100 transactions per minute during peak usage. Then, reliability. The system should recover from unexpected errors or server outages, ensuring continuous service availability. Data stored in the application's database should maintain integrity. The application should provide informative error messages and log details for debugging purposes. After that is availability. The application should be available for use 99.9% of the time, excluding scheduled maintenance periods. The system shall recover from scheduled maintenance within 1 hour, restoring full functionality. The system shall implement continuous monitoring, and administrators shall receive immediate alerts for any critical availability issues. Next is security. All sensitive user data, including personal information and payment details, should be encrypted during transmission and storage. The application must implement secure user authentication and authorization mechanism, allowing access only to authenticated and authorized users. Administrative functions shall be accessible only to users with administrator privileges. Then, maintainability. The code shall follow industry standard coding conventions, and all functions, classes, and modules shall be thoroughly documented. The system shall include error logging and debugging features to assist developers in identifying and resolving issues quickly. The last is portability. While currently designed for Android, the application should be developed in a way that allows for potential future porting to other platforms. The application's user interface shall be responsive, adjusting layout and design to accommodate different screen sizes on mobile devices. Design constraints. What is design constraints actually? Design constraints refer to limitations or restrictions that affect the design of the software system. The design constraints of this application is: the application is constrained to run on Android devices with version 7.0, Nougat, or later.
This is the use case diagram of Saranora clothing store website system. In this use case, we have 5 actors. There is customer, marketing administrator, warehouse staff, warehouse manager, and payment processor. The first use case is for the customer use case. The customer are able to browse clothes by style, size, brand, and see all the details and even read reviews. When they find something they love, they can edit in their chart and choose the payment method. Next, there is admin use case. The marketing administrator is responsible for all of the marketing and sales activities for the business. They are the one who make sure that the products are being seen by potential customers and that they are being sold at a profitable price. The warehouse manager use case, where the warehouse manager keeps tracks for all the clothes in warehouse, making sure there are enough of such and of size and color, as well as regularly checks the inventory levels and reports any shortage of the web manager. Next is warehouse staff use case. When a customer orders clothes, the warehouse staff takes them from the inventory and picks them up for shipping.
Okay, so for analysis model, we use swim lane diagram for the business process or activity diagram. So it illustrates the flow of activities of 5 actors, which are marketing department, system, customer, seller, and courier. So it outlines the various steps and interactions between the actors, intending to visualize the sequential flow of actions, decision points, and interactions within the purchasing process in our application. So additionally, for database design, we use ERD or entity relationship diagram that visualizes the tables and relationships representations among different entities. It is the key to ensure that each of the entities' relationships is well defined. Okay, so this is the swimline diagram of the process of user purchasing product from our application. Since it's too small to see, we may see 50-50 later. Okay, so the whole process of customer purchasing the product is when they're attracted by marketing. So that's why it started with marketing launch the advertisement on the channel, whatever the channel is. It could be social media, brochure, or whatever. Then customer is expected to see the advertisement, and for the customer that is succeeded to be attracted to, they may visit through online store site, which is our application. And once they see attractive product, they may check the availability through our application feature. If no, then they may go back to see another product. If yes, then they can proceed to add to cart. And in this action, marking the time when unregistered users realize that they have to log in or sign in first. Since the data, which is cart data, has to be connected with each of the users' data in database, um, if the user has not registered, the system will notify them that they have to create account first. But when user has registered before, they may log in. And then after they going through user authentication process, they go back to the previous focus, which is checking out the card product. Do they want to check out immediately or try to find another? If no, then they may go back and view another product to add on cart. If yes, they may fill in the checkout form as provided inside our application. So in that checkout process, they may have to choose payment method. So there are two options, and they are m-banking and cash on delivery or COD. If m-banking, then they may immediately go for the transaction. If cash on delivery, then no immediate payment required. Okay, so after the payment done, except COD, yeah, they may confirm the checkout through system. So once order has confirmed, the system will notify seller that there is no order. Also, system mark the order status as packed. That's the time when seller receive new order notification. Then they process the order to the shipment provider. Like in our case, example, me as seller, I send the package to JNS Center to be shipped. Then us as seller, we will mark down the order as sent status, and system will display the sent status. Also, system will give the order track details by shipment provider information. Once it handed by courier, courier will ship the product to the address. But there are two conditions. Is the customer at home? If customer is not at home, and if the case is m-banking payment customer, and then courier will just put the product in front of the house because no after payment required. Different like COD, if there is no customer available in the house, then courier will mark the product as failed delivery, and then they take it home. Now it will repeat the process of when the customer is at home. So when the customer is at home, and then m-banking customer will receive, and COD will pay the product and receive the product. And then courier will mark the order as delivered, as well as the system will notify that the packet is delivered, and the customer will confirm that the packet is received or not. After confirmed, the system will notify that the customer may give product review. In this case, user have to. So then they give the review and system will publish them. And that's it. That's the process of purchasing the product from our application in our swim lane diagram. Alright, so this is the ERD or Entity Relationship Diagram of e-commerce website OBUS. So you can see zoom in because it's too small to see. Yeah, so we will start with site user. So it is intended to data the registered user of the website who can place orders, meaning that they have their own ID which marked as PK or primary key, email address, phone number, and password. So it's related with the tables of user address, user review, user payment method, and shopping cart. So the relationship between the site user and user address is that it has mandatory one to optional many, because one site user can have many or even none of user reviews. Example, me as customer, it's not a mandatory for me to give a review. But at the same time, I also can add lots of review to various products, and it depends on each of the site users' decisions. That's why it's optional and can be many or none at all. But each of the user review must belongs to one specific site user. Example, first review of product one, it must be coming from one specific user. It could not be the way that one product review comes from multiple user. And then relationship between site user and user payment method. It's supposedly many optional to many optional, yeah, because one site user, they can utilize the different payment method as they keep ordering the products. Example, my first order, I choose COD, and then for the next order could be m-banking. But one payment method, there could be some payment method that none of the customer choose. But one or more payment method could be chosen by more than one user. That's why it's many optional. And then relationship between site user and shopping cart. So it's a mandatory one, too many optional, because site user can have many shopping cart as time goes by, but each of the shopping cart only have one specific user. And then last, relationship between site user and user address. So as I mentioned in UI section, that each user can have more than one addresses, which are two addresses. That's why it's many optional. It can be none, it can be more than one. But each of address, it must be specifically comes from one specific user. That's why it's mandatory one to many optional. Now we move on to the user address. So it's a record of each of the addresses that the user has over their lifetime in the system. It has user ID as foreign key or FK, as well as address ID and is it default or not. So for the is it default or not, it's a Boolean value, 1 or 0, yes or no, to indicate whether this address for this user is the user's default address when placing an order or not. So it has one more relationship that is not mentioned before, and it's with address. So it's optional many to mandatory one because user address must be coming from one specific address. Meanwhile, address can have multiple user addresses as users increasing. Now we move on to address. So it's a list of all the addresses entered into system which are used to deliver orders. It contains ID, SPK, unit number for this address, street number, two addresses, address 1 and address 2, city, region, postal code, as well as country ID. So it has two relationships that haven't mentioned before. So first is with country table. So the country inside the table comes from this table. So it's many optional to mandatory one, has address specifically comes with one specific order, but country can have many addresses. Example in Indonesia, of course there are multiple addresses as user in Indonesia is many, but one specific address has only one specific country. And then with shop order, so it's mandatory one to optional many because one address can have multiple orders, but one specific order can ordered by many addresses alias many users. And then we move on to user review, which is a record of review left by user for a product. It has ID SPK, ordered product ID as a foreign key to be order line table to relate to the product that was ordered, and then user ID, rating value, and comment. So it has one more relationship that has not mentioned before. So it's with order line, and it's many optional to mandatory one. Since one review specifically belongs to order line, but one order line can have or even none review. And then we move on to user payment method table. So it's a list of payment methods that the user has set up for their account. It has ID SPK, user ID and payment type ID as FK, provider example Mastercard, Visa, and then account number, expiry date if applicable, and is default or not. So it's a Boolean value, same like the previous table that I mentioned before, is to indicate whether this is the default payment method for the user or not. So it has one more relationship, and that is shop order. So it's supposedly mandatory one-to-many optional, yeah, because user payment method could be utilized for multiple shop order, but each of shop order specifically belongs to one payment method. Because once I order, which consisting one or more products, it has to be paid by one specific payment method. Unless if I want to add another order, it can be comes from a different payment method. But once I order, it has to be one payment method because it cannot be separated. And then payment type table. So it's a lookup table of payment types for the payment methods. It has ID, SPK, and value. So it's the payment type or details. It could be example, it could be credit card or PayPal. It has one relationship with user payment method. So it's a mandatory one to optional many. Since each of the payment type can be utilized by many payment method, but each payment method belongs to one payment type. And then we move on to shopping cart table. So it's a record of a shopping cart that user can set up for their account. It has ID SPK and user ID, which is a foreign key to the user table to indicate which user owns the shopping cart. So it has one more relationship with shopping cart item, which is mandatory one to many optional because each of the cart has none or more product, but the item must be belongs to one specific cart. Example, I have one D cart consisting of product A, B, C, and which is D card can have none inside, but B, C, D must belongs to one card, and that is D card. And then we move on to shopping cart item table. So it's the products that belongs to a shopping cart for a user. It has ID SPK, cart ID SFK, product item SFK, and quantity. So it has one more relationship with product item, and it is many optional to one mandatory. So because shopping cart item must belongs to one product item, and it must be available, yeah, both. But product item is not a certain that they are chosen as part of shopping cart items or not. And then we move on to the table of shop order. So it's a record of an order that a user has placed for one or more products. It has ID, user ID, order date, payment method, shipping address, shipping method, order total, and order status. So it has three model relationship that I haven't mentioned before. First is with order line. So it's mandatory one to many optional. Second is with shipping method, which is many optional to mandatory one, because shop order have to choose one shipping method, of course, but shipping method can be utilized by multiple users alias shop orders from them. Last is with order status. So it's a many optional to mandatory one because of course one shop order have to belong to one specific status, because if there is no status means that the order could be gone or abandoned. But each of the order status, there could be no or more than one orders that have the same status. Example, in this application, there could be none orders that currently go through sent status, but there are multiple orders that currently go through, example, delivered status, like that. And then we move on to the table of order line. So it's a record of a product for an order. It has ID, product item ID, that's specifically for that one order line, quantity and price. So it has one more relationship that hasn't mentioned, which is with product item. So it's many optional to mandatory one. Because order line, of course, they have a or one product for each, but product item can have many order lines by many users. And then we move on to shipping methods. So it's a lookup table of all of the shipping methods available for users. It consists of ID, name, and price. And then we move on to order status. So it's a lookable table of different statuses that an order can have. It has ID and status. The status is the name of the order status that is readable by the user. It could be ordered, in transit, delivered, sent, cancelled, etc. And then we move on to the product category. So it's a list of categories that the products belongs to. It also allows for subcategories. It consists of ID, parent category ID, which is a foreign key to another record in this table to indicate that the parent category of this category, and category name could be top, watch, bag, etc., like I mentioned in UI section before. So it has two relationships. First is with product, which is mandatory one to many optional, because category can have none or multiple products. Example, currently top category, top category can be empty or can be multiple products available inside, but each product must have category. Second is with variation, which is mandatory one to many optional with the same reason. Next is product table. It's a representation of product that is shown on a list of products page. It consists of ID SPK, category ID SFK, name of product, description of them, and product image as seen from UI. It has one more relationship and it's with product item. So it's mandatory one to many optional because product can have none or more than one product item, but product item must belongs to one product since they are the childs of the table. And the last is product configuration. So it's a combination of all the variation options for a product item, such as example, in this case is shoes, and the product configuration, one of the product configuration inside the shoes category is Nike basic jogger having a color of white and a material of cotton. So it has product item ID and variation option ID. So they both are FK and it depends on two tables and their product item and variation option. Since it's like a table of combination, the product configuration must have one specific product item and one specific variation option. But the two of them, which is product item and variation option, can have none or multiple product configuration. So that's it, the explanation of ERD and its relationship.
Okay, so because my friend Emmeline already explained about the relationship and the attributes in the entity relationship diagram, so for the class diagram, I want to focus about the system in our Serenora clothing store mobile application. So first, in the user diagram, the functions or the methods are register, login, and update profile. Anyway, functions or methods is what the user can do in this specific diagram. So basically in the user diagram, user can create their profile by register, log in, and then update their profile. Then for category diagram, the function here is view. So the user can view categorizations of the products. Then for review diagram, The functions are view and add review, so the user can view the reviews and the ratings of selected products as well as add their own reviews and rating if they're ordered a product. And then for product diagram, the functions are get product detail, like product size, color, and other product information, and then add to cart or buy product. And then for shopping cart diagram, the functions are add cart item, update quantity, and checkout. So user can add products to the cart, change the quantity of the product, and then check out selected products. And then for order diagram, the function is place order. I think this one is quite straightforward. So next, for shipping diagram, the function is update shipping. Basically, the user can view the shipping information and the order tracking will always be updated. Lastly, for payment diagram, the functions are make payment, send OTP or one-time password. This is when the user choose external parties payment methods like credit card. They will send the OTP to the user to confirm the payment. And then get payment detail, for example, payment type and payment date. And then the last function is confirm payment.
Okay, the last is a change management process. In this change management process of our CRS, we have the first is change request initiation. The change management process comes with the identification of a need for modification within the Serenora closing store mobile application. This initiation may arise from various sources such as end user feedback, technological advancement, or business requirements. And the secondly is change request documentation. Upon initiation, the proposed change is documentation comprehensively. This documentation includes detail such as the rationale behind the change, potential benefits, associate risks, and the estimate impact on the existing system. And the third is change request evaluations. The change request undergoes a thorough evaluation process to determine its feasibility and impact. This involves collaborations among relevant scholars, including developers, project managers, and quality assurance terms. And the fourth is change approval. Once the change request is evaluated, is it submitted for approval? The approval process involves key decision makers, including project manager and the client. And the five is implementation planning. Upon approval, a detailed implementation plan is developed. This plan outlines the steps, research, and timelines required to execute the change successfully. It includes consideration for potential fallback strategies in case of unexpected issues during implementation. The sake of change management process is change implementation. The actual implementation of the approval change is carried out by the develop team following the outline plan. The team ensure minimal disruption to the existing system and conducts thorough testing to validate the correctness and effectiveness of the implemented change. And the seventh is testing and quality and assurance. A comprehensive, a comprehensive testing has followed the implementations involving reduced quality assurance procedure. The ensure that the modified application meets the required in standards, and any potential issues are identified and addressed before the change is rolled out to the live environment. And the A is documentation update. Documentation is update reflect to the change made of to the Serenora Clothing Store mobile application. This includes user manual, system documentation, and any relevant training material to ensure that all scholars are informed about the update feature and functionalities. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your time and your attention.